December 1st, 2024. I wasn't sure about uploading this. Part of me wants to forget it all, toss the journal away and pretend I never knew. But another part of me feels like this needs to be shared. I live, or lived, next door to Liam. We weren't exactly friends. Just polite nods in the hallway, the occasional, "Hey, how's it going?" He was quiet, kept to himself, never caused trouble. A few days ago, though, things started to seem off. I heard thuds through the walls like someone dragging furniture in the middle of the night. Once I thought I heard yelling, but when I pressed my ear to the wall, there was only silence. I told myself it was nothing, the building settling, or maybe Liam had the TV on too loud. But then the smell started. At first it was faint, a sour whiff whenever I passed his door. By evening, it was unbearable, a nauseating mix of rotting meat and cleaning fluid. I called the landlord to complain, but of course he didn't answer. That's when I decided to check on Liam myself. I knocked on his door, no response. I knocked again, louder, calling his name. Still nothing. I could hear the faint hum of his fridge through the door, so I knew his power wasn't out. But the smell. It was suffocating, heavy. For reasons I still can't explain, I tried the knob. It wasn't locked. The door creaked open, and the smell hit me like a wall. I gagged, almost throwing up right there. The air was thick, humid, like stepping into a swamp. The apartment was dark, but I could see enough. It was a disaster. Furniture overturned, papers scattered everywhere. The walls were scarred with deep gouges like claw marks. The floor was sticky with some dark, viscous liquid I didn't want to think about. And then I saw it. The journal. It was sitting on the desk, open, as though he'd just been writing in it. The pen rested on the page. I called out again, louder this time, but the only sound was the faint buzz of a fly somewhere in the shadows. I didn't want to go in any further. Something about the place felt fundamentally wrong, but the journal was right there, and I couldn't stop myself. I picked it up and started reading. God, I wish I hadn't. Here's what I found, transcribed as best as I could manage. Liam's journal. Entry, November 3rd. I don't know why I'm writing this. It's not like anyone will ever read it. Maybe it's for me. A release. Or maybe it's the walls. They feel tighter lately, like the room is shrinking. It's suffocating. No, drowning. I can hear the city outside, cars honking, sirens wailing. But it might as well be miles away. I haven't left the apartment in days. Weeks? The calendar fell off the wall, and I didn't bother putting it back. I think it's the 3rd. The smell's wrong, like damp wood and copper. Nothing's changed, though. I started keeping the windows shut because the noise gives me headaches, but now the smell is overwhelming. I thought it was the pipes, so I scrubbed the sink and poured bleach down the drain. It didn't help. The smell clings to me. I even dream about it. I should leave. Should have left months ago. But moving means packing, and packing means confronting all my crap, all my failures. No, I can't think like that. I'm just tired. Haven't been sleeping much. Every time I close my eyes, I feel like I'm falling. When I wake up, my chest hurts, like I've been holding my breath. This is burnout, right? Freelancing sounded like a dream, but it's just deadlines on top of deadlines. I'm running on fumes, living off cold takeout and coffee. My body hates me. No one's reached out in a while. Not that I can blame them. I stopped replying to texts after her. Her. God, why am I writing this now? I haven't said her name since the accident. Melissa. It's been, 3 months? That sounds wrong. It feels longer, like years. Maybe because I wasn't there at the end. I should have been. We were supposed to meet for coffee that morning. I didn't show, didn't even call. She texted me right before it happened. We need to talk. I read it, sighed, and went back to sleep. When I woke up, she was gone. I didn't go to the funeral. Couldn't face her family. They didn't know about the fight. The things I said. Things I can never take back. She deserved better. Maybe that's why I'm hearing her voice. Yeah. That's what I wanted to write about. The voice. It started a few nights ago. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, counting cracks. The air was heavy, like before a storm. I was almost asleep when I heard it. My name. Not in my head. Not a memory. Out loud. Right next to my ear. Liam. I shot up so fast I nearly fell out of bed. The apartment was silent. Too silent. No fridge hum, no dripping faucet, just nothing. But I swear I felt someone there standing in the dark, watching me. Liam's journal. Entry. November 3rd. It happened again the next night. I was in the kitchen making tea. I just set the cup on the counter when I heard her voice again. I'm home. The cup shattered in my hand. I don't even remember dropping it. Tea and blood were everywhere, but all I could do was stare at the empty room waiting for her to walk in. She didn't, of course. Then tonight, the voicemail. I didn't even know you could get voicemails from numbers that don't exist anymore. But there it was, her name on my phone screen. I played it, and my heart stopped. It was her voice, distorted, like it was underwater. I couldn't make out most of it, but 2 words were clear. I'm home. And then, right before it ended, look behind you. I didn't. I couldn't. I just sat there, frozen, until my phone died. Liam's journal. Entry, November 10th. I've been thinking about Mel. Well, I'm always thinking about her these days. But tonight feels different. Like there's something I missed. Something I ignored because it was easier not to see it. The day she died, she sent me that text. We need to talk. I assumed the worst. Thought she was going to break up with me. Tell me she was done with my excuses and my bullshit. Maybe she was. But now I'm not so sure. The last few weeks before the accident, she wasn't herself. She was always tired, barely sleeping. She blamed it on stress, work, family, life. But now that I think about it, there was something else. She started canceling plans last minute, saying she wasn't feeling well. When we did see each other, she was distracted, glancing over her shoulder like she was expecting someone or something to be there. Once I caught her staring at her reflection in a window for way too long, like she didn't recognize herself. When I asked about it, she just laughed and changed the subject. I should have pushed her. One night, we were on the phone. Her voice was shaky, like she'd been crying. She said something that stuck with me. Do you ever feel like you're not who you're supposed to be? Like when you look in the mirror, it's not you staring back? I laughed it off. Told her she needed sleep. She got quiet after that. Then she said something else. I don't think it's me, Liam. I didn't ask what she meant. I should have. But I didn't. What if she wasn't just stressed? What if she was going through what I'm going through now? The insomnia, the voices, the feeling of being watched. Maybe she wasn't meeting me to break up. Maybe she wanted to tell me what was happening to her, but I didn't show up. I didn't listen. Now she's gone. And I think she's here. Liam's journal. Entry. November 13th. I can't do this anymore. Something is wrong. Really wrong. It's not just in my head. I woke up this morning, or maybe it was afternoon, to the sound of glass shattering. My first thought was that someone had broken in. But when I scrambled out of bed, nothing was out of place. Windows intact, doors locked. Then I saw the photo. It was on my desk, propped up like it belonged there. A picture of me and Mel from 2 years ago at Navy Pier. I remember that day so clearly. We laughed so hard when I spilled my slushie all over my shoes. It was one of the last times we were truly happy. But here's the thing. I don't have that photo anymore. I threw it out after the accident. I went through everything. Pictures, letters, gifts, and got rid of them all. I couldn't stand to look at them. Yet there it was. I tore the apartment apart and found more. Her scarf folded neatly in my closet. Her notebooks under my bed, still filled with her handwriting and doodles. Her favorite mug in the kitchen cabinet. When I touched it, it was warm. I don't know how any of it got here. It's not just her things, though. There are scratches on the walls I don't remember. Floorboards creak where they never used to. And the mirrors. I can't look at them anymore. Every time I catch my reflection, it feels off. Sometimes it lags, like it's thinking about what to do next. Other times it's smiling when I'm not. Tonight I covered all the mirrors. It helped for a while. Then I heard something rustling in the kitchen. When I went to check, the towel from the bathroom mirror was on the floor. It was soaked in something dark and sticky. I didn't check what was underneath. Liam's journal. Entry. November 20th. I can't sleep anymore. Every time I close my eyes, I feel it breathing, not on me, in me. It's like my lungs aren't mine, like every breath is borrowed from something else. Last night I stayed up pacing the apartment, watching shadows crawl across the walls. They moved when they shouldn't. At first, I thought it was just the city lights, cars passing by, normal life outside. But these shadows, they have weight. They linger. I made the mistake of turning off the lights. It was around 3 a.m. The flickering bulbs were driving me insane, so I thought the dark might help. It didn't. The silence was suffocating, like the entire apartment was holding its breath. Then I heard it. A faint thumping. It sounded like a heartbeat, distant at first. But it wasn't random. It moved, deliberately. Behind me, then to my left, my right, circling me like it was testing me. I turned the lights back on. The sound didn't stop. It grew louder, closer. The walls trembled with each thump. I swear I saw them swell, like something was trying to push through. The drywall cracked, jagged lines spreading like veins. I screamed at it to stop, to leave me alone. And it did. For a moment, there was silence. Then I heard my name. Liam. It came from the kitchen. Every part of me screamed to stay put, to hide. But I couldn't stop myself. Her voice was soft, sweet, just as I remembered. I stepped into the kitchen and she was there, standing by the sink, her back to me, hair wet and dripping onto the floor. The smell hit me first, metallic and rotten, like spoiled meat left in the sun. Mel? My voice cracked. She didn't move, just stood there, silent, her head tilted slightly. The air felt wrong, heavy and sharp, like a blade pressed against my throat. Then, slowly, she turned. It wasn't her. The thing wearing her face smiled, its lips stretching too wide, splitting at the edges to reveal too many jagged teeth. I screamed at it to stop, to leave me alone. And it did. For a moment, there was silence. Then I heard my name. Liam. It came from the kitchen. Every part of me screamed to stay put, to hide. But I couldn't stop myself. Her voice was soft, sweet, just as I remembered. I stepped into the kitchen and she was there. Standing by the sink, her back to me, hair wet and dripping onto the floor. The smell hit me first, metallic and rotten, like spoiled meat left in the sun. Mel? My voice cracked. She didn't move, just stood there, silent, her head tilted slightly. The air felt wrong, heavy and sharp, like a blade pressed against my throat. Then, slowly, she turned. It wasn't her. The thing wearing her face smiled, its lips stretching too wide, splitting at the edges to reveal too many jagged teeth. Its eyes were empty, black pits that swallowed the light. It opened its mouth, and the sound that came out wasn't a voice. It was wet, gurgling, like something drowning in its own blood. I ran. I locked myself in the bathroom, slamming the door behind me. My hands shook so badly I could barely turn the lock. The thumping returned, louder than ever, pounding through the walls, the floor, my chest. Then the mirror. The towels I'd taped over it were gone. My reflection was there, staring back at me, but it wasn't moving. It just stood, grinning that impossible grin. Its head tilted until its neck cracked, and it pressed its hand to the glass. I swear I felt it. Cold, wet fingers digging into my shoulder. I stayed curled on the floor, covering my ears, trying to block it all out. When I finally opened the door, the apartment was normal. No cracks in the walls, no smell, no signs of what I'd seen. But the photo of Mel was back on the desk. There was something new written on the back. Let me in. Liam's journal. Entry. November. Unsure, I don't recognize myself anymore. This morning I caught my reflection in the bathroom mirror. For a moment I wasn't sure it was me. My eyes looked wrong, hollow, dark, like they'd been scooped out and replaced with something hungry. I keep finding things I don't remember writing, notes scribbled on scraps of paper, messages carved into my desk. Let me in. You deserve this. You can't hide. The bruises are worse. They're everywhere. My arms, legs, chest. Some of them look like handprints, like fingers pressed so deep into my skin they've turned black and purple. I don't remember falling. I don't remember anyone touching me. This afternoon, I heard my own voice in the hallway. It was calling my name, soft and pleading, like I was begging myself for help. When I opened the door, the hallway was empty. Liam's journal. Final entry. I don't have much time. My hands won't stop shaking, and the words are blurring. It's here. The walls are alive. Veins pulse through the cracks. The air is heavy, damp, like something massive is breathing. The door won't open. The windows won't budge. The lights are out, and the dark feels alive. Liam. It whispers my name in her voice. But it's not her. I see it in the shards of glass from the broken mirror. It's moving, crawling, twisting, watching. It looks like me, but it isn't. Its eyes are hollow. Its smile is wrong. You let me in, it says. I ran, but the apartment stretches endlessly. The walls shift. The doors vanish. It's everywhere. Now I'm locked in the bathroom again. The mirror is humming. The cracks are spreading. I can hear it scratching at the door. It doesn't need to knock. I think I let it in a long time ago. That's all I found. The journal ends there. When the police came, they found no sign of Liam. His apartment was empty. But the mirror in his bathroom, it wasn't just broken. It was shattered, like something had exploded out of it. The shards glittered in the dark like teeth. The police think it was a mental health crisis, a reaction to his girlfriend's death. They mentioned footage of Liam leaving the building the night I found the journal. But last night, lying in bed, I thought I heard someone whisper my name. It sounded like him. Or maybe it sounded like me.